Good evening, welcome everyone to Tier 3 tonight for the Austin, Texas, United States Grand Prix. And I am F1ology back with Tier 3 tonight. And I'm joined by co-commentator Iron Kid. How are you doing, Iron Kid, this evening?
Hello everyone. I'm great. Uh, at least this time I'm gonna be a commentator without being taken out of the race. I'm gonna be full time from the beginning. So yeah, I'm excited to see. It wasn't so exciting when I raced on Monday. I hope it's better watching. Let's see. Let's see. It's a sprint race as well, so expecting a lot for those guys.
Yeah. So, obviously Austin, Texas. Um, It's a, well, American-based track. Do you want to give maybe the viewers or the drivers any info that you either like or dislike based on this track? Any secrets?
Hmm. The thing is that, well, actually, the secret is if a safety car comes in came out actually early, the best thing to do is pit there, and then you're going to pit again, like do a two-stop. Because if no one does it, it's the undercut is very powerful in this track. I mean, we have a safety car on Monday. I didn't pit, it was because I was at mediums. It came out like lap 5. I made a mistake. I should have pit, then go to the hards, and I could have got to the soft at the end, and could be very powerful into till the end of the race. So everyone who does two stop, this is very powerful track to do a two stop. It's actually one of the tracks you can do two stop. So I think two stop is the best thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, this is like very borderline. We've seen in real life as well, very borderline between the one stop and two stop. Two stop this year in real life was the way to go, pretty much, as Mercedes found that one out pretty quickly. Um, but yeah. Um, anyway, Neil is going to begin his lap then, and will be the first driver of all 20 or 19, I should say, as he will head up the hill then, and it's a uphill incline into turn 1. Drifts a little bit wide of the apex, but that doesn't really matter because turn 1 apex you don't have to hit around here. There's multiple lines through that corner really. But looks pretty good through the S's as he will then snake his way up towards the top of the hill, and gonna get up the delta quickly on my lap so I can know what time he's doing. There we go. So anyway, into, I think this is turn 12. Important corner to get right because this will set up your exit for the back straight, and unfortunately Neil has got that wrong and has invalidated.
Well, it's
So I
who's
think
next?
it'll be his
Has
teammate. Is that Time or Teen?
Tiny.
Tiny.
Yep,
Um,
Tiny.
there we go. Tiny then is on a lap as he's got his rear wing open. Doesn't invalidate like his teammate at turn 12, I think it is. Into then 13. Does take a lot of the curb on the left, almost cutting across it completely. So certainly using all the track width there of what's allowed. Still through the middle sector and coming around this long right-hander, kind of reminiscent to that turn, I think it's 8, 9 and 10 at Turkey, Istanbul, and then into the final corner, keeps the car in the track limits just about, and it's a 32.7 to start things off, so we're already beyond the pole lap time of yesterday, which is pretty indeed good to see.
And Monday as well. Think it was the same one with yesterday's. And we have a spinner. Win. Oh no, Win Porsche. Yeah, he tied on pit lane. Sorry.
Yeah. So, who is next? I think it's CPI Danny going to be the next driver to come across the timing line, and so far he's in the final corner. Has a little bit of a wobble on the exit, but does still nonetheless go fastest by almost an entire second. He's ahead of Tiny. So currently your top three is Danny, Tiny and Demac. And currently...
here comes the Ferrari of Paul Jones Jr.
Yep.
With a 1:33.4.
That's a pretty decent lap time by him to get into fourth. Only a few thousandths splitting himself and Demac there for third at the moment. So all the top 10 have done a lap time. We've still got quite a few cars that haven't, like McDunn, Shudan. Then we got Neil, Kotos, Saint Power, and Airman and Algary. Yep. So those are the drivers yet to do a lap. And currently CPI Danny's at the top. So don't really know what to say, as Saint Power is going to begin his lap now. That's probably what I should say. He almost left me lost for words. As he gets to the top of the hill, gets the car nicely rotated, and then through then the S section. Drifts wide though, doesn't invalidate, so can still continue on with this lap. However, through that first sector, going to lose a lot of time, so not going to be in the hunt for fastest first sector, even though it does show it's going purple, but it's not, probably.
Yeah, he's because he's below top 10, so he's the fastest of the top 10. That's why it shows that he's the fastest.
Yeah. Anyway, down then the back straight into 13. Doesn't use the full track width, but 104.2. So I think this is probably looking at a 134 to 33.8, in my opinion here.
Yeah, something somewhere around there, I think.
Keeps it clean through the long right-hander of 17, 18 and 19 into 20. And turn 21. Gets a lot of oversteer and understeer at the same time, and it's a 36.0, so lost a lot of time in the final part of the lap probably. And well, does get into the top 10. Any drivers you watching on a lap at the moment?
I'm watching. I was watching actually Lucky Egg because he's probably a guy who is going to replace one of the owners, Manson Bob. It's an announcement that we made of the league. It's something that we should announce. Manson Bob is stepping down for his role of the Alpine for reasons of the game, because he got disqualified on Monday because of a glitch, and he likes the battles, but he doesn't like how the game is doing, so he will step down. He will be reserve. I will have an open seat, so probably Lucky Egg has a lot of eyes on it, on him. Maybe he can place Man's Bob on Monday. So that's why I'm watching currently today a lot.
No, the game, to be fair, I do understand Man's Not Bob's decision. The game is in a bit of a despair at the moment, really, in truth. It's a nice game to drive, just not enjoyable to play.
Yeah, if you only want to do just for fun, it's good. But if you want something more, then you can't really.
still. So Mick is going to begin a lap then. And both of the Duns are in the Red Bull. I presume they are either friends or maybe
The
siblings
brothers.
or brothers. There we go. So certainly them two. Certainly as teammates are pretty much, well, I don't know whether they're a perfect combination. Sometimes brothers can fight, which, not fight in a bad way, but, fight in a good way.
Yeah.
Have a rivalry going on. So, anyway, loses a little bit on the exit of 12, but gets the DRS open, and down the back straight then he will go into then 13. As the under-braking picks to break between the 150 to 100 metre board. Maybe could have been slightly braver and brakes there, but still doing a good lap on a 3.7 at the moment in middle. So this is certainly looking decent. All comes then down to this final sector for him, really. And using Daniel Ricciardo's number he is, to be fair, on the car, which quite like. Would love to see the number 3 back on the Red Bull in real life.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think so, but never say never.
Yeah. And McDunn goes P10 for now with a 1:34.4. So your current pole setup is currently on a out lap in the final sector somewhere at the, I think is towards the start of the final sector. So we'll pick him up a bit later.
There is also a championship running with, like you said, MG Dunn. You mentioned his name. So he needs a good race, because he's leading the championship by 77 points. But the man who is behind him, Kotos, is P3 right now with 75. But Danny, who is third in the championship with 69 points, is first in the currently on pole position. So Amsterdam needs to do something good today, have a good race, and Kotos as well, because if everything goes well, I think Danny can put the he can get the race win, the sprint win, the pole, and maybe get the Grand Shalom, or how they call it in Formula One.
No,
So they need a good.
Perfectly.
So they need good results here, so they can keep up with Danny, even though he's third. Danny's, I think, the superior for right now.
Yeah. Obviously, Red Bull are also leading the constructors, followed by Mercedes and Ferrari, and quite a close battle actually at the top. In theory, we could have probably 5 teams in it come the end of the season at the moment with the way things are looking, between everyone from 5th up to 1st. Looking very, very close in both championships in Tier 3 at the moment.
Yeah, it looks spicy, the championship. Oh, and Luigi, it's not the Ascension. Did he DNF?
Didn't catch it, but
He
I
lost.
presume,
He
yep.
put it at time, but he's not in the pit lane. Kotis is the one who is in the out. Oh no, he's actually in the pit lane. I don't know if you DNF, does the game put you in the?
I believe he'll be in the grid. No, I believe he'll be in his grid box, but for the start race just means he won't be able to set a lap time, or another lap time, which be highly frustrating, I would have thought, because we are now towards the business end of qualifying. Track will be ramping up in terms of grip and everything, so yeah, it is pretty much golden hour, and Algri has spun again at the same turn, and I'm pretty sure he'd done that the second time in this qualifying session. Looked to have been on a good lap, just that turn catching him off his, colours, I suppose, at the moment. And yeah, twice in a row, spinning whilst on a lap. So his other team, well, Damac, his teammate, has unfortunately invalidated, so he will have to go again. Ehrman's on an out lap by the looks of it, or in lap one of the other. And I think Kotos is going to be the first of the top 5, then to come around and begin his final qualifying run. This should be his final qualifying run here with 3 minutes
Probably
25 on the clock. So, you want to commentate the lap around Kota?
Yeah, of course. It's a very good exit from the last corner to start his lap. It's a very tight turn 1, right to the curb perfectly, I think. Then we go into the turn 3. Now the tricky part of the sector, and he invalidates and he stops. His lap.
Always
That was
happens.
a quick one.
Always happens when you're commentating a lap. Literally, same with me.
That's the trickiest part of the track. Of course, the turn 3, 4, 5 into 6. That's the only part you can invalidate, I think.
The only good thing, I suppose, for Kotos, at least he will not have taken too much life out of the tyres. Personally, I'd prefer to invalidate early than invalidate at the line. So at least he can recharge the battery, almost treat it like a second warm-up lap. And 4-0, he's coming now through the final sector. Currently on a 34, got Ross behind him in 8th.
So after the quali, we will restart the lobby again. Because our tire coordinator didn't put the sprint race. Because we have a sprint race.
To be fair, I did think that was... I did say earlier it was missing. But yeah, oh well, could be worse. At least the game isn't messed up today, so far. Touch wood. So Ross is improving, as you'd expect. Neil did improve by 2/10. Doesn't move up any positions though, unfortunately for him. So he will have to hope that 133.9 is good enough for 9th at the moment, which it is currently, but will it be good enough come the end of the session? So Ross, through the final couple of corners so far, is about a 10th up. Is going to come through the final corner now, and is he going to improve positions? Yes, he is. It goes up to 5th with a 7/10 improvement. So that's a good lap from Ross. So Kotos has started his lap again. And I think Tiny's just about started his, and followed by CPI Danny. I suppose if you want to keep an eye on them two, or one of them, I'll keep an eye on Kotos, and we can see
how
they're getting along.
Keeping an eye on Kotos, but okay.
Yeah. So, Kotos, one of the first of the top 5 drivers then. Currently on a lap, on a 33.0. CPI Danny
validates.
So Tiny is then out of this competition or session here at Kota. So only then maybe 3 drivers in the hunt for pole of Kotos, Kotos, Paul, and obviously
Paul just
Danny.
Didn't. I think he said a lap. He's going slow now. So either Paul Jones. So I think it's all about Kotos.
So Kotos versus Danny then. Kotos has a big snap of oversteer out the final couple of corners. That's going to affect his time, but does improve up into the top 3, missing out on 2nd place. So
and
what can Danny do?
About 12,000 of a second. If he's improved it, I don't think he needs it anywhere. I don't think he needs it. He has a big snap oversteer there. But I don't think he needs to push. He's the only one. He will get pole anyway. He improved by 2/10.
Yeah.
It's 131.7, but still.
Yeah.
He's 1 second faster than P2 and P3. That's a ridiculous pace, I think. 1 second of P1 and of P2. P1 and P2. That's ridiculous.
Yep. But Fair play to him. Cannot
Yeah, for play.
discredit him for that. That is an amazing lap, or couple of laps. So there we go. CPI Danny will be your pole sitter, followed by Tiny, and then Kotos in third.
Got to say on the stream, slow down, Danny. Obviously, if any of your drivers are watching, please retire. The lobby will be restarted because we didn't add the sprint race. So everyone will back out and come back in when the invites are out.
Yep, indeed. So I'm going to quickly go through the grid order then, based on what we got once everyone crossed the line. So CPI Danny takes then pole position by then a second clear of Tiny, ahead of Kotos by about 30 thousandths of a second in third. Paul Jones misses out on the top three in fourth, and then Ross G is in fifth. Eamon is sixth, followed by Demac and Shaundon in eighth. Then Lewis G is in ninth, and McDunn, your championship leader, is in 10th. Neil is in 11th, followed by Tom in then 12th. And then we've got Algary in 13th. ERL Piers is in 14th. Lucky Egg is 15th. Then St. Power 16th. LCC is in 17th with a 36-1. And then no set time, we have Mikey and then Porsche both rounding off at the back of the grid. So who do you think out of all the drivers will be the race winner? Well, actually, that's a bit of a
The
daft
race winner,
question.
I think that's easy to answer. It's going to be Danny, and then Danny's going to win the race as well. So I found out.
Yeah. Who's going to be joining him on the podium? That's what I should have asked.
That's difficult. I think I don't want to really get the commentator's curse. Really, I don't want to. But well, when it comes to a Greek guy, and we're only three in the league, well, Kostas, of course, I want to get him at least P2. Then P3, I want to see a new guy. The new guy, what's his name? Jones, Paul Jones.
Yeah. Paul Jones, to be fair, did look quick. Shame he missed out on that third or second, could have been. But he is certainly, well, if he's got good qualifying pace, then hopefully he's got good race pace as well, which one can hope for.
Who do you think is gonna take the two podium places?
I think I'm going to say obviously Kotos. I think he'll finish on the podium, and I'm going to then give a bit of a surprise podium to Shudan or Shudan.
Shudan. Oh, okay.
Yeah, a bit of a surprise one. I don't know. I just like a bit of a surprise overall. I do like to root for a bit of an underdog. Who doesn't?
That's true.
If he can go on and win the race, that would be absolutely fantastic. Unlikely, but with CPI Danny's pace at least. But
Maybe if Danny gets a track limit penalty and there's a late safety car, you never know.
true, true, true. The
Well,
only
to be
thing
honest,
is,
I want that.
the only thing I'm gonna say, sometimes qualifying pace does not always translate to race pace as well. Some people can be just really good at one laps, um, ultimately, and then be nowhere in the race. Obviously, I doubt that with CPI Danny, but yeah, Um, just trying to give a little bit of hope to the fellow drivers.
Yeah, I was. Well, it looks like I'm only supporting the Greek guys, but that's not true. I'm supporting Pyrrhus as well. Neil. Well, obviously, I know Neil for almost 2 years now. It's one of the guys I know for a long time, and I like one of the. It's one of the guy I like the most as well. There's a lot of guys I like, but the thing they always think that I like only Greek guys. That's not true, man. Not true. Not
Yeah,
true at all.
fair enough. No, I do like to root for a bit of an underdog. I do personally myself. It's always nice to, but you have to also appreciate greatness as well. Um, like to be 1 second clear of the entire field, that is well, that's goat level, really. Um, that is literally like I don't think there's many drivers who's ever qualified a second clear. You've probably got Hamilton in real life. I'm talking about like Hamilton. I don't know if Verstappen's done it. He might have done once.
I
Don't think
think so.
that.
Yes.
I don't think Vettel's ever done it. Unfortunately, he did do that one lap thing in China, which was pretty mega in 2009. Um, and he also done a one lap qualifying run in Singapore, where he literally decided to get out of his car after 2 minutes after setting pole. Um,
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
that was pretty insane. But then you've got obviously Senna. He's definitely done it. I think he's done it once or twice. So yeah, not many drivers. Probably Schumacher's done it as well. Set pole by over a second. So it's pretty goated when a driver does that.
I saw an article, like speaking of now for ERL, IRL Formula One. So an article about Ferrari that they're improving for next season, and now they included signs as well for the car. I mean, every year I read for Ferrari, but every year I read the same and same and same for 50 years now. And I don't know if it's true or not, man. Really, it really bothers me more that it's not fake, but still it's stupid in
Yeah.
that kind of way to read that they're improving, but when it comes to next year, they're like the fourth best car. They're like somehow behind Aston Martin and even McLaren.
I
I really don't know what to expect from Ferrari. And I'm not a Ferrari fan. I like Ferrari, but I'm not a Ferrari fan. But still, it's so disappointed for
you
a team like
know
that.
I think Ferrari will be good next year. How good? It's a difficult question, but I reckon personally, I think if a challenge is coming from anywhere to Red Bull, it will be from McLaren and from Ferrari. I don't think Mercedes will be quite there. I'm not confident about Aston Martin either. But Ferrari and McLaren, I think them two will be the teams to watch in 2024. Obviously, Red Bull probably be as dominant. You know, who knows what Adrian Newey has cooked up during that 6 months. That guy is a literal. Well, he can see airflow with his eyes without even needing a wind tunnel.
That's true as well.
He is literally a genius. Um, yeah. Anyway, back to the racing action that we'll have here soon in not PRL, ERL.
The ERL.
Yeah. Oh, I always get confused because I'm in so many leagues with RL at the end of them. So it's literally just that first letter, you know, between the leagues that I do commentary for that makes me confused. Anyway, back to the commentary then and the racing in ERL. Obviously, first race is going to be a sprint, so no tyre strategy. Um, do you like sprints? Are you a fan of the sprint format yourself, or not really?
Really depends. I mean, in the F1, Formula One game, no, because uh, even if you uh, bring the hard allocation, you still have a low amount of tires. Uh, in the Formula One game, they need to improve that next year's game. But overall, as IRL, it's good, but they have, I think, a lot of them,
Yeah.
and the tracks that really we don't care. I mean, you have a sprint race. When they had sprint race,
We've
when
we had
they
two:
had
Qatar, Austin,
yeah, Qatar. I mean,
Brazil.
Qatar.
We had a
I
lot at
didn't
the
like
back end.
Qatar one. Yeah, we had a lot of the end of the season. I didn't like Qatar.
Nah.
Uh, it's a really mixed situation, but I still think it's a lot of them. Sprint race. Maybe if you have like two of them, three max, I think that'll be better.
Personally, my opinion on sprints, I'll be honest, I don't like them from any point of view. Whether it's an entertainment point of view, whether it's a driving point of view on the game, I don't like them. And the reason I don't like them is because, well, it's a bit of a risk. Someone could just go into CPI Danny accidentally, bang, he's lost his pole. Anyway,
Yeah,
Danny
that's true.
is going to then set the grid off, and we are racing then in Tier 3. CPI Danny doesn't have that incident I've just said, thank God for that. Otherwise, he would be cursing me in the Discord chat for that one, for putting the commentator curse on it. But anyway, CPI Danny has gotten away, and I think that'll be maybe the last we see of CPI Danny in this race. If he can bridge out a 1 second gap after this first lap, we'll have to wait and see. Close behind, though, it is very close between Kotos and Paul, who are battling away for then this third place. As we see the map having a look at Ross, gets the cutback, and I think he might be able to get this move done as we head then down the back straight. Does seem to be right on the gearbox of the Williams driver of Ross G. Goes down the inside, but in the end I think Ross G carried a bit more speed into the corner and seems like he's able to defend that one off. And in fact, Ross G having to look towards the outside, gets a snap of oversteer, which in a way kind of worked for him as a bit of a defence, because I think that offset the Mac a little bit and made him think twice of going for the move there on Ross. And now Ross is coming under a bit of pressure by Eamon, so if Eamon can apply that pressure, might relieve and alleviate pressure from Ross. But as we head up the hill, looks like Ross is going to be able to defend that one. And Algri going up the inside of McDunn. And in fact, both Rebels down a position or two on this opening lap. Shudun was 7th, I'm pretty sure, and is now, unfortunately, down to 11th.
He was 8th.
Yeah, so he's lost quite a few positions on the opening lap, but can he, well, recollect himself and ultimately try and rebuild his race from there? So then Porsche going for a move on the inside. Yesterday's winner here at Texas at COTA. In the first lap, he moved up 5 positions and pretty much is already up about 6 in this one. So in the background, you've got Tom applying a bit of pressure to Vin Porsche. But Vin Porsche is going to be looking at trying to get past Neil as quickly as possible and try and get into the top 10 as quickly as possible as well, for good measure. So on to already lap 3 of the race, and up front CPI Danny's got a 1.8 second lead.
1.9. Kotos is there though with Tiny, and Paul Jones,
Yeah.
7 cents there. Then Rossi has a gap 1.5, and the rest is close. And we have a yellow flag of
Yeah.
LLCC.
And
Our
it's a
head steward,
virtual
who,
safety car.
of course, it's like the thing I said. If there is a safety car or a virtual early on, I think it's the best thing to do, like pit.
Yeah. This is a sprint race, though. Do bear that in mind. So probably you don't want to be making a pit stop during the sprint. Obviously, pit stops are not compulsory during this race. They are in the next one, though. So, interestingly, CPI Danny has also gone for the hard tyres. Everyone else pretty much all on mediums, except one or two at the back. But with both the back markers on then softs, and Neil also on softs. So they're the only three drivers opting for a different tyre compound in this, sprint race that we've got here. So virtual safety car should be ending soon, and we can go racing once more, and Ross has incurred a 3-second time penalty. Now that could be costly in this one, because obviously we've only got 10 laps of racing, therefore, well, we've only got about 8 now, and therefore if the field remains relatively bunched up and close, we'll probably lose a good chunk and number of positions then in this sprint that we've got here. So McDunn is at the moment challenging Algri as they'll head up the hill into turn 1. McDunn on the inside line, Algri on the outside. Can Algri defend this off? Yes, he can for now, and had a bit more maybe drive out that corner on that outside line, and manages to remain ahead of the Red Bull driver then here in Tier 3, as then them two will go up the hill. Lewis G is at the moment chasing Edmund Mack and currently Ross. Now Mack is within the DRS, will have obviously, we'll know the driver ahead of him is obviously on a 3-second penalty, so might not be taking too much risk here. Ross defends towards the inside.
Bottas overtakes Tiny for P2.
So yep, that's Kotos then up into P2. Now Ross is coming back at Demac here, goes off the track though. Lewis G though getting the move done on Airman in the background, and also I think both of the Red Bulls have got past Algri for 9th and 10th in this sprint race equally for good measure. So them two are now up the order as well, and Vim Porsche has caused the first full call safety car.
Yesterday's winner is on the wall. That's actually the most percent. I don't know how to say it in English. One of the corners you can hit the wall who has the most percentage.
Percentage.
I don't remember the percent. Yeah, percentage. Yeah, he has a lot. I was watching a graphic about that early in the week. A lot of leagues and actually on the esports as well. They're crossing there because it's tricky after the right hand. If you touch the curb, you spin there. So it's one of the trickiest corners actually to spin in DNF.
Yeah. Obviously, that will now bunch everyone up again together. I don't expect any pit stops unless anyone has got damage.
I think you should do. I think you should pit. If you have hards, maybe not. But if you are mediums, really go on hards and then pit on softs. You're gonna say, I don't know if there's a safety car after that. Even if it's not a safety car, you will have an advantage. And maybe if the gap ahead of you is a second, maybe you can close it and you could be ahead. Because yesterday when I pitted from my mediums, I was P11. and I didn't
Yeah.
pit the first safety car in lap 5. I did lose some positions after the restart, but when I pitted for hards after that, I gained 3 positions. So from P11, I was P9. And at the end of the race, I ended up in P8.
Yeah.
So I did gain for a 2-stop. And Danny is actually the one who pits from hards. He goes
Yeah.
to softs, so maybe he's listening to me. Even
Well,
the soft.
he is, but everyone else is obviously now ahead of him on the track, and he will have over 12 cars to clear to get back up into first place then there. So he's got a lot of work to go and do in this second part of the race, and he's not going to have many laps to do it. He's only going to have 3 when we probably get going again.
Oh, we are in the sprint. Oh,
That's why
I
I said
forgot
don't.
about.
That's
I
why I
thought we
said
was on a
don't pit.
race.
No,
Sorry. So Danny, if you listening to me, good thing, man.
you have made
He's
a
outside the points.
you have made a strategic mistake.
To make Kotos leading the race. See, I'm a smart one.
The only thing I would say we do have to bear in mind with CPI Danny, he was already leading the race by 3 seconds, and that was on the hards. So, I mean, and he took pole by a second, so everyone else ahead of him's got 5 lap pole tyres. I am going to be definitely
But
keeping an eye on him.
yeah, but the safety car will not be in this lap because our cars still coming in, so they will come in lap 8. Do you think it's Danny will win the Grand Prix? Absolutely not. The sprint race. Oh,
I
don't think so.
wouldn't listen. I would not bet against him. I
Yeah,
mean,
but uh, gain 11 positions in 2 laps. Not
3.
even Jan Opping can do that.
Be 3 laps. I don't know. It's close.
No, I mean 2 laps because the safety car will not come in this lap and will be the
It'll be
next lap.
next lap.
It will be starting the lap 8.
Yeah, lap
3
8,
laps.
9,
Yeah,
10.
yeah, right. You're right.
No, don't
But
worry.
still,
It's good.
3 laps. But
I mean, it's tough to say. But I would just say, like, listen, it's CPI Danny. He's over a second quicker in qualifying. He had a 3-second advantage, before the safety car came out and was on the hards, so therefore a slower compounder tyre. Just think how far ahead he could have been if he started on the same compound. Could have been maybe 6, 7 seconds up the road. So I'm rooting for. Well, I'm not rooting for him necessarily. I would like actually Kotos or Tiny to battle it out for the win here. I think that'd be nice, or even Paul, who, as you said, I think you said he's a new lad.
yep.
So that would be a perfect way for him to start it here. But I don't know. CPI Danny really. We know he's rapid. I know he's down in 12th, but let's not bet against CPI Danny with that pace that he's got. I just think that would be entirely wrong of us to do, in my opinion. But for Ross, this is going to hurt him a lot, and same with Shadan, because both of them have got penalties, and in fact we'll go through the penalties. Obviously only have picked up 3 seconds, so there we go. So with 3-second penalties to their name, with the field bunched up the way it is now, they're potentially going to lose a lot of positions, and the safety car, as you said, is going to be in this lap, obviously end of lap 7, so we'll have 3 laps of racing action to bring to you now.
Do you think Kotos will win the sprint?
Um,
If you exclude Danny, like
yeah, if you exclude Danny, I mean, yeah. I think Kotos has it's his best chance. Same with Tiny, same with Paul. This is their best chance to win something today, potentially. So, them 3, and maybe even Damac, them four have got to go and try and grab it with both hands, but without ruining each other's race here in the sprint, of course, and hope that Danny doesn't come through the field as
I will
quickly
keep
as
my
I
eye on
predict.
Danny, and
Yep.
You will keep your eyes on the rest, I think.
Of course. So, we are back once again racing then, here in Tier 3. Kotos leads the field away as then he heads up the hill into Turn 1. And it looks like he's got a pretty good jump on Tiny. He's over 7/10 clear at the beginning
Danny's already
of this
P10.
lap 1.
We took
So,
2 people.
There we go.
And
Danny
he
is
will
making
overtake one other one because Rochi made a battle with Luigi.
Yeah. So, between the top 3, there is not really much going on, even though Paul is actually gaining a little bit
Danny
through
goes from the
this
inside,
first sector.
I think gets a warning for sure. It's close, and he could get close, and he puts Luigi on the wall. Danny puts
And
Luigi on the wall.
Also,
will not be a safety car, but
also picked up the 3-second penalty.
Ooh.
So,
Yeah, he cut the curb, and I think that was Danny's mistake, to be honest.
you'd surely have to say that rules Danny out of contention for the win, at least in the sprint race today.
And almost lost it there. He's fighting a lot.
Yeah.
He gets a position. He's up to P7. He gets up to P6. Jesus Christ, man. I think you need to find a new league to race. We look like a Muppets.
Yeah. So,
to be honest.
Paul is right now chasing down Tiny, and Tiny is trying to chase down
And he will go to
Kotos.
P5. Sorry again to interrupt you. That man is a beast, man. He gained 6 positions in 1 lap. He's up to P5, and he has a 2.6, 2.5, and I think he will overtake DMAC at the end of the lag. I'm pretty sure.
I did say he's quick. Yeah, I mean, if he didn't have that 3-second penalty, he definitely could not rule him out of this at all. But because he's got the 3 seconds,
1.1.
yeah,
Well, 1.8. He's from DMAC. That's something to watch. And he has a fastest first sector.
yeah. So Danny is coming at DMAC like a steam train. Then here in Tier 3. But the driver, I think, going to be under pressure, at least on this occasion, or this time around, will be potentially Tiny, who, in fact, is actually going to put Kotos under a bit of pressure, closing up to the back of Kotos at least. But in the braking zone, it looks like Paul has had a bit of a better braking, and only half a second now, also splitting both DeMac and Danny, and Danny's in fact going for it. He's gone for it. He's got it.
He's pushing too much, and that was the cleanest move. He pushed a little bit T-Mac out of the track.
Yeah, potentially wasn't the best of moves.
Gets a warning there for sure. Wide. Now we're in the last lap.
So, last lap of the race. Thing is, probably Danny will lose at least one position here on this final lap as we come around the final tour, but he is going to close down to the leaders probably to about 2 seconds. So far he's only got a 2-second gap to the race leader, which is pretty insane. But we are on the final lap of the race, so Kotos leads, and it looks like Kotos is pretty handy here. Looks like it will be going Kotos' way then. Yeah, 0.8 of a second. Now, I do hope, in a way, Danny doesn't fight with these drivers, only because, in a sense, I know he's not going to win it, and therefore, what's the point of trying to disrupt your other driver's race?
Paul Jones.
Yeah, he's not going to listen, though, I don't think, or is he?
Yeah, for sure. He will go for a move, I'm pretty sure.
He's gone for a move.
Ooh, and Danny needs to be head down, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because even he gets the warnings out and he overtakes Tiny. Jesus, man. Is he going to overtake you? God, that's going to be amazing. Because he seems a little bit slow. He's on 6/10.
Yeah. I mean,
If he was
surely he's
closer,
not
I
going to
was
get
sure
on
he
the
was going to
line.
for a move.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he would have gone for a move.
Kotzos wins,
Yeah.
but Danny loses actually only 2 positions. That's P2, P4.
However, I think we should say that with a bit of a caveat, he loses 2 positions because there might be a few steward reports. Certainly, Lewis G could make one. So, you said that there was contact between them two, which ended his race or sprint. So, might lose a bit more positions in the end, depending on the outcome of that. But anyway, Kotos is your race winner in the sprint at least. And we'll start then from pole position in the main race. And driver of the day apparently Mikey there in the sprint.
Danny had even wing damage, but still he finished second in the results.
Yeah.
Jesus, this man.
Right. Kotos is your sprint winner then, followed by Tiny, then Paul Jones, then Danny in fourth, dropping down 3 or 4 positions there. Then we've got Demac fifth, Eamon sixth, Madun in seventh, then Mikey in eighth, Algri in ninth, Shadun is in 10th. Pretty good result from him as well, considering that 3 seconds he had. Then in 11th, Lucky Egg, Neil in 12th, then Tom 13th, Saint Power 14th, ERL Piers in 15th, and then LCC in 16th. Then your non-finishers are Ross, Lewis, and Vin Porsche, who obviously triggered that first safety car Vin Porsche did, but there is still obviously a main race to go. And what did you think of the sprint? Was it entertaining? Did you find that an entertaining sprint overall?
It was entertaining because Danny beat it.
Yeah. Otherwise, might have been a bit different. I think if no one had done their stops, was a bit of a interesting first few laps. Ultimately, weren't the most action packed, but it was good after that. Really. So yeah, that's race one at least, or the sprint done. Now we've got the main race, and now obviously tyre strategy does come into a bit more play. So drivers will have to make a mandatory stop, therefore use both tyre compounds, soft, medium, or hards, up to them which 2 they use out of them out of them 3 sets. Unless it rains, of course, then they've got to use either inters or full wets.
I'm not asking who's gonna win. Probably Danny.
Yeah. Anyway, lights out and away we go then for the second time in today's race. So
Danny
up
go for
into
a
turn one.
move for an overtake and gets P1. No, he doesn't. He does. No, he doesn't. He does.
He does.
Just pick a side. Yep, he does. Man, it's a beast, man. Really.
He's now up into P1, and that's the race over. We can all go home. I'm only joking. Anyway, Kotos is then leading this race. Not leading this race, he's P2 in this race. Followed by Tiny, as Tiny's going to go for a move there. That's a quite brave one from Tiny down the inside. Does get the move done
from the outside. Kotos will
coming
get position back.
Yeah.
Nice overtake, but Tiny has lower downforce, and Tiny will overtake him. And now Kotos will be on the of the slipstream of Tiny, and he will go for the move into the inside. Goes deep, and still, no, he doesn't get the move. Still, he will go for a switchback. Daymak is there, almost spun with Tiny. It's a pretty interesting battle. Dimac for some reason is ghosted. No, he's not.
Yeah, I think it just was made a mistake and game ghosted him. Then, so Paul Jones and him wouldn't have that collision or, basically take each other out. So tyre strategy, according to possible race strategies, either soft medium, softs to 12 and then or 13, and then the other one was medium hards. After lap 1, CPI Danny is already 2 seconds clear. Slow down. Seriously.
Retire. Seriously.
Literally. Like, honestly, that is insane. Like, 2 seconds times 28, that's about 60 seconds clear of P2 at this rate. If he keeps that pace up, at least. Anyway, Paul Jones coming under pressure from DeMac. Then fourth. DeMac did pick up, I think, a penalty in the last sprint. That might have been actually Ross, I'm thinking of actually.
Yeah, it was Ross.
Yeah. He was one of the top 5 lads. And we'll have to see how them drivers get along, because they're starting further back. And then Porsche and Ross do have good pace. Same with Lewis G. So we know they can certainly fight their way probably back through this field, which I think will make it at least somewhat entertaining, hopefully.
Hope so.
So Shadan going for a move in then that banked corner of, I think it's 16, and gets moved done there quite nice and clean then. So
Danny fastest lap.
yeah, I think we're going to see that a lot, obviously, tonight. Already seen it a lot tonight, to be fair. So where are then the drivers behind? Then Porsche right now is
Neil.
trying to overtake on Lewis. Can he go around the outside? Then Porsche trying it around the outside. One of them's going to have to surely back out here, and in the end Lewis does back out, but still tries to fight for the position back, but in the end then Porsche is ahead as we get up to the top of the hill, and is now going to have ERL Piers in his sights, and is going to go down the inside on ERL Piers. Brakes late, or pretty much brakes a little bit later than ERL Piers, gets the move done on the exit. Piers has to settle for then 12th there, and next up will be Vim Porsche's teammate, who is going to be only half a second up, but almost a bit of contact between Piers and Vim Porsche.
3 wide there.
Yep, 3
Piers
wide.
gets a pretty good move there.
But Vim Porsche comes back at him on the exit, gets the switchback move done, and that was a lovely switchback from Vim Porsche there to get back into P11. So that was a nice bit of that racing there we've just seen. Very good, clean racing from them 4 or 3. And unfortunately, I think Airman has tagged around St. Power, and that might just trigger a safety car, potentially, or might not, taking a long time to deploy. So I think we're not going to have one. That's a bit of a surprise,
Weird.
but that was a pretty heavy punt into the wall by Airman, so yeah, that probably gonna, probably go to the stewards later on tonight, but oh well. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, Kotos right now been re-overtaken by Tiny, who obviously does have that lower wings by the looks of it. By the looks of it, Kotos is using a much higher downforce package, therefore probably struggling with his straight line speed, even with the DRS, but does have DRS on this occasion. Therefore, we'll be trying to get back that P2, and we've got another yellow flag out there in the
McLaren
second sector.
McLaren of LLTC.
Yeah. All the sectors around here are pretty long, to be fair. So, in terms of who's made up most positions, so far Vim Porsche up 8 positions in this race.
Look, this midfield,
Make that 9.
stack. Lucky Egg, Neil, Vin Porsche, Tom, Louis C, Pierce, all so close. Look at them fighting almost 3 cars wide for a point at some point.
Yeah,
Really good to see that, and obviously keep it clean. Nice racing.
absolutely is good racing going on out there. As
Tiny
Shadun's
losses and
picked up a
spins.
penalty.
Tiny spins and losing the
3
P2.
positions.
He's back down to P5. And now he's 9/10ths, almost a second ahead of MG Dunn. MG Dunn will push to get a DRS of him, so he can be away from the train behind him. And St. Power left, obviously ENF. Now it's Paul Jones, D-Mag versus Kochos for the second place, because the first place is already done. Dan is leading by 7 seconds. Jesus.
Paul Jones is going for a move then for what is P2. Gets the move done on Kotos, and that's now Kotos back down into third after being P2 for the second time in this race. So he's back down obviously to third. The Max still hanging on in there on his soft compound tyres, in then with these two ahead of him on mediums. So that's them two, really. Finding a way. Got quite a lot of action, to be fair, going on. Vin Porsche is up to 8th, so he's having a good race, another good race tonight. Okay, he didn't have a great sprint, but he's making up for it clearly in this race, and potentially could finish on podium. Going to be tougher than what it was yesterday for him, but certainly he's got good pace to go and do that sort of stuff. CPI Danny has actually slowed down on the previous 2 laps.
No, he didn't.
Well, no, I mean, like, the gap's stabilised. It's now down to 6.7. That's what I mean by slowed down.
Yeah, 3/10 is nothing. You make a mistake, probably.
Probably. But, yeah. Nonetheless, it's now down to 6.6. Maybe we've got a race on our hands. Still. McDunn is actually making up another position here, and he's going to be up into the top 5. And actually, McDunn is really on a good charge here. I did say one of the Dunns could end up on the podium. I think I said Shoe Dunn, but I would take it if McDunn ends up on the podium, to be fair, today. That'd be a brilliant result.
Yeah, for the championship as well.
Yeah, that would be fantastic to see. So, something's not right with the race leader, to be fair.
He's
Pretty sure
slowing
it's...
down.
I'm not really sure. Like, it's down to 6 seconds. The race lead, which is a bit odd to say. It's down to 6 seconds. I'm not entirely sure what's going on.
It was a second, but if he slows down more, then we will know that he's doing it on purpose. No. It's only 1 second down. Oh, we'll see. We'll see. It's 6.2 now.
Yeah. Still. Nonetheless, still got a very healthy gap and lead to the drivers behind, as we are on lap 7 of this race. Is 7 seconds clear of P3, 6 seconds clear of Paul. Then here comes Tiny back on then McDunn, and Tiny does get the place back, but is on the softer compound. Can McDunn fight for this one back? Indeed he can. Goes down the inside, gives the driver of Tiny space on the inside to fight with him, but in the end McDunn comes out on top, and that was again a good move by McDunn to get that P5 back in this one. So what's going on a bit further behind?
Yeah, it's a McLaren.
Yeah, that's LCC, who's almost a lap down here. He's 1 minute 14 behind our race leader at the moment. As we will see, then it's Neil and Lewis going side by side. Lewis at the top of the hill gets the move done into turn 1, and on the exit, will he have the position? He's on softer tyres, and I think as we go into the S's, he's ahead. Yep, he is indeed. So Lewis is now up into then P9, and that sees Lewis now into the top 9.
Ooh, an empty done spawns.
Spun.
Ooh, Commentator scares.
Yeah, I did. Well, I was rooting for him, but to be fair, Shidon is still doing good in 7th, so I'm going to root for him now again. I am switching between the Duns at the moment. They probably are hoping I don't switch between them for too much longer, because I'm putting curses on them at the moment. But yeah, Vin Porsche now makes a move up into 5th, and now he's inside the top 5, and now he can probably go about trying to chase down then those podium positions. Obviously does have then Demac ahead of him, as we see Tiny pull off into the pit lane, and he's deciding to stop now. We'll have a long way to go though on a set of the hards, but we'll have the benefit of the undercut here, which can be a very, very powerful tool around this track. Certainly one of the more powerful tracks to do the undercut, probably up there with Belgium in truth when it comes to undercut your rivals.
Now let's see if maybe the 2-stop.
Yeah, 2-stop could work. Here's probably right territory for a 2-stop in terms of if you want to do that ultimately. But Tiny has gone for the hards, so that would probably indicate to me he's going to attempt to get to the end of the race. I think if you're going for a 2-stop, you probably got to go soft mediums. If you're going for the 1-stop, then you are going to go soft hards or medium hards. According to the graphic at the start, you know, the one I'm on about, the AWS graphic, which tells you race predictions for tire strategy, did say 1-stop was the way to go, so I think that what we might see here then today, unfortunately. I would have loved a 2-stop. That's probably another thing about this game, you know, tyre wears may be a bit too good. But yeah.
So the gap doesn't come down. Danny is actually pulling away.
As per planned.
7.6, and we have a yellow flag again. That's LCC 4th spin. Not surprised.
But notably hasn't, even though he's pulling away, notably isn't as maybe as strong as what he was at the start of the race, I would have to say. Certainly looks like he's probably had a bit of graining, ultimately. He's only 8 seconds clear. I know it is only lap 10. Still a long way to go in this race. It is a huge gap nonetheless, but yeah. Anyway, we're going to see Kotos then move up into P2 once again. And that's Kotos back ahead of Paul. And these two swapping positions a lot.
Penalty.
And Lewis G off the
that's
track.
A nice battle. Shooting with Luigi.
Yeah, and both of them giving good room to each other. Lewis G, though, is on the soft compound tyres, so those will be a little bit worse for wear at this moment in the race. And Lewis G, you can just see sliding all over the place.
Ooh,
and he's lost the car. So that's certainly them tyres now dead. those, well, I'm pretty sure he'll probably come into the pit lane here. And a bit of a maybe dangerous rejoin there from Lewis G, because I think it was Ross had to take a bit of avoiding action. But he will come in anyway, Lewis G, and will go about trying to recover his race. However he goes about doing that, it's entirely down to him. Probably
Yellow
goes
flag.
hard.
Again.
Yeah, I think it's LCC at the moment. I
Yeah.
might. Yeah, pretty sure. Just having spins out there, he is at the moment.
He's
There was-
bringing his inner Van Dorn.
Yeah. There was a saying, if you spin, you must win. That came from, I think, the Verstappen era, really, that has. Because obviously he had those spins at Hungary 2022, Spain 2022, I think it was. So,
I think it was Spain.
So if you spin, you must win. LCC must now win this race from a minute 37 behind.
So the only battle we have open is P2 with P3 and Amsterdam with Neo and the Tiny of trying to overtake the people ahead, but still. So.
Yeah. To be fair, Tiny overtaking people ahead isn't really much.
LCC spawns again.
Yeah. To be fair, I'm not gonna lie, like, for LCC, I just feel like he probably should come into the pits and retire. I know I wouldn't encourage retiring, like, at all, like, if that makes sense, but there's no point being out there if you're just gonna constantly spin. Or come in, at least put on a new set of tyres, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but he's the one of people in the league. He wants to keep things into the rules actually, because he's the head steward, one of the head stewards.
Yeah, no, it's fair enough.
Because we have a penalty when people are retiring on the pit lane without a good cause, actually.
Yeah, no,
so
I know.
And every position gets a point, so he does get a point.
It's just I just don't want to see like people spinning constantly, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense, but still he can race. I mean,
bad.
It's like it looks like we know Dan is gonna win. So what's the point of racing for a win? Like, for that point of sense.
Yeah,
I know what
true.
you're saying about the spinning, but like if you know there's a guy winning every week, so what's the point to win to race?
True. Anyway, then Porsche is moving up the positions.
And
Then
pits.
into fourth, DMAC has pitted, and what is DMAC going to go for? He's going to put on the mediums, so that's probably a bit of a bold call to go from medium, well, soft to mediums. Probably can do that and get away with it, but we'll have about 14 laps overall to go on those set of tyres, and is about 4 seconds behind Tiny. So obviously Tiny did spin a little bit earlier and lost a lot of time, but I think he ended up behind Dimac. But that shows you how powerful the undercut is around here, because he's already 4 seconds now ahead of Dimac after being behind him. So I think when actually Kotos and Paul make their stops, going to be very, very close to being back within that P2 here for Tiny.
Yeah, I told you the two stop is actually powerful. Or even the one stop, but the one stop is dangerous in the way of if you pit early. That may be laps here. It's very easy to spin in every corner.
And CPI Danny is now into the pits, and he's going to come back out into this race, obviously down the
P2.
order, but well, it's still down the order.
Yeah,
P2.
still, even with a safety car, he will be P1.
Yeah, only 6 seconds behind our race leader. Then here, Kotos has picked up a penalty. I presume that's of 3 seconds. And in fact, losing the car a little bit. So those tyres are certainly probably well beyond their best now for the mediums equally. And probably was the right time for Danny to come in. And therefore, well, you can already see how much Danny's able to take out of Kotos. Was 6 seconds, 6.5 I think. Now it's already down to 5, almost under 5 now, which is incredible stuff from him. Still, Paul is then in 5th, and he's only just ahead of Tiny. So Tiny is now on the rear of Paul. Tiny's got the DRS. Tiny's going to be making the pass into then the heavy braking zone of 13. Picks up a 3-second penalty though for good measure. And can he continue the fight then here with Paul? Is trying to do so, but Paul remains ahead as we head towards then the end of lap 14 on to lap 15, and Kotos is now coming in, so he's going to probably end up behind these two, and LCC has retired on the track, which, yeah,
Did he retire on track or he spin?
I don't know.
That's a safety car though. That's a free pit stop from Kochos, and I don't think he didn't have the time to respond. But that means that Kochos gained a position for that,
Yeah.
and Paul Jones is behind Airman for now. That's a thing we needed the safety car a lap earlier.
Yeah. We did, but, you know, still, at least then this, I suppose, puts everyone back together, and everything now is reset in this race, sort of, I suppose. I do wonder whether we see CPI Danny come back in, because he probably does have the pit stop gap to go and make a pit stop here, being 14 seconds clear. I'm pretty sure the pit stop loss is around 20 seconds, or 22 seconds. So it'd be half of that under a safety car. So probably be about 15 to 13 seconds you'd lose in the pit stop under safety
I
car.
think so.
Because obviously drivers do have to respect the safety car delta. So do we see Danny in? Yes, we do. And obviously can gain a bit of time on the entry, can as well. And I imagine we'll also see McDonough in as well on those 14 lap hold tyres. Definitely seeing him in. And Dunny's going for the softs, so he thinks he can get softs all the way to the end from lap 15. I suppose he probably can do that. Probably will do that. So does Dunny come back out in the race lead? Yes, he does. Unsurprisingly.
Softs till the end.
Yeah, pretty brave call. I suppose it will work.
I don't think so.
Don't you think?
No. They're pretty dead about 9-10 laps. The 2 laps will be painful at the end.
Oh yeah, definitely. Them 2 laps will be a nightmare, but don't forget we've also got safety car laps, so under safety car laps you're not going to take maybe too much away. So it might be only the final lap pitch where you're going to take a bit of pain, but I think it's worth it if you ask me. For a bit of pain, for in the longer run, for the shorter term gain here, probably makes a bit more sense in my eyes. That's just me, in my opinion.
Let's see. I think Danny will win, of course, if nothing happens. But now with Costas having a 3 seconds penalty, the one lap tire doesn't mean anything right now if they bunch up together.
Yeah. So we are on lap 16 of then the race. And safety car probably be in at the end of next lap.
Let's see what is there's actually a good fight. Brilliant.
So lap 17 under safety car. Not the 17th lap under safety car, just lap 17.
Yeah, I think then the tire will go to the end of Daniel.
Yeah, might be just one lap of pain at the end there for Danny and for maybe Eamon, but I think it's worth it because they'll have about 8, maybe 10 laps of a relatively strong race pace on those softs. So, yeah, that will certainly be a bit of a benefit for them. Good thing is, we haven't actually seen too much of a safety car today, which I kind of like. I do like a safety car free race personally, or, you know, not too safety car heavy. One safety car mid-race just breaks it up nicely, almost like a half-time interval.
True, that's true as well. Safety car in this lap.
Yep, so it'll be Danny's prerogative of when to go in this safety car restart. Backs the pack up, but isn't backing them up too much, to be fair, which is good to see. Some people prefer to pack up a bit more, to be fair. Pretty sure as soon as that safety car's in, it will probably just go, to be fair. And then, well, it'll be a battle between Kotos, Demac, Vin Porsche and Tiny and maybe McDunn, all for this podium spot, and do not discount Airman either. So we could have about 5 or 6 cars all in that podium battle for, well, from 2nd down to 8th or 9th, I'm predicting here. So we are racing and we are back to the green in Kota.
Dan is already a second ahead.
Yeah. He's going to leave no stone, I'm pretty sure, unturned.
Really? How, man? Really? How?
We haven't even had one corner.
1.5 in 2 corners.
Yeah. Still, I think it's probably best to watch what's going on behind Danny rather than
that's true.
watching Danny.
Yellow flag again.
And yep, that is a yellow. No safety car as of yet. So that's Algri down to 16th. And we see it's McDunn, not McDunn, sorry. It's Tiny looking at going for the move on Vin Porsche. Then in the battle for then 5th. Vin Porsche on the inside, Tiny on the outside. Currently Vin Porsche on the hards then, and Vin Porsche going to be side by side with Tiny into the 13, and it is Vim Porsche remaining ahead then, but behind Demac then, and Vim Porsche sends it up the inside of Demac, both
ballsy
making
move.
contact. That would probably have to go down as Vim Porsche's fault, but in the end, both of them still remaining on the track together, so it won't probably be too much of a problem in the end there. And after one lap of racing, CPI Danny's 4.7 seconds up the road. Man is, yeah, someone should drug test him after this race. But Vim Porsche is battling away with Tiny. Both of them, having a good wheel-to-wheel fight overall. Tiny going a little bit off the track, but you know what they say in America, if it's great, it is okay. Even though it wouldn't be okay, to be fair, because I'll pick up time penalties. Still. Anyway, Vim Porsche seems like he's broken a little bit of a gap out now to the back of Tiny. So can he go about chasing after then Demac and Paul? Currently, Paul would finish P2 in this one, which would be an amazing debutant race, to be fair, from him. Because, to be fair, when you're a new driver in any league, I don't know whether he's driven with any of these drivers before, but
I don't think so.
It can, well, all I'd say, it can be hard getting to know, what sort of room you can give each driver, if that makes sense, and what they're going to give you back in return. So
that's a good statement, though, from Paul Jones if he finishes at the podium.
Exactly, that's a very good statement from him to get onto the podium in his first ever race in ERL here. Especially not at the easiest of tracks either. Koto is a bit of a difficult track, to be fair. Lots of corners, and it's a very fast, high-speed track, heavy downforce, and yeah, it is a very, very difficult. Well, it is a difficult track to negotiate and to contend with. Still, Vim Porsche is coming at Demac quite quickly, and I think we could see Demac a bit under pressure as we head down the straight this time. Then, so Demac is not going to have DRS. Vim Porsche is going to have DRS, and here we go. Then a move for fourth. Then on the cards, here we go. Vim Porsche going for it. He's got it. Down the inside, gets the move into the braking zone and is up into fourth.
Good overtake.
Yeah, that is a good overtake by Vim Porsche for P4. Paul, though, holding onto the back of Kotos nicely, but does have Vim Porsche coming at him now, who was yesterday's race winner in Tier 2 and will be looking potentially of getting onto the podium. Can he go take P2 away from currently what would be Paul right now and Kotos, of course? As we see, it's McDunn or MG Dunn going for the move on then Airman, gets the move done, and he is through up into 7th. And I am starting to wonder, are them softs starting now to fade a little bit out, because Airman is dropping a little bit off this group here right now. Also, CPI Danny's pace has kind of plateaued out a little bit, ever so slightly. Still got a very healthy gap though. And Tiny going for moving out on Demac, so a lap later, same sort of issue for Demac he's facing, and in fact he's going to lose position also to 2 cars potentially here. McDunn on the inside of then Tiny. Tiny gives him the room. MG Dunn trying to move around the outside, Can he get the move
He's
done?
there.
He
It's
has got
close.
the move done, and that's a brilliant bit of racing from MG Dunn to get up into 5th. I think that is an excellent move by him. Ultimately had to go the long way round on Tiny. Did have the DRS on, obviously, the Mac, but to pick 2 cars off at once, that always has to go down as a special move.
It was a great move.
Yeah, it was certainly a great move. So, lap 22 of the race. Still only, well, 2 seconds almost splitting then the top 4, or the top 3 between 2nd and 4th. MG Dunn does have medium compound tyres, so therefore can try and use those to his advantage potentially and chase down the likes of Vin Porsche and Kotos if he's got the pace to do so. And in fact does have a bit of a younger tyre in terms of the tyre age. So far out of the top then 5, I think he's got one of the youngest compound tyres at the moment, and we're seeing Paul go for a move. Paul's got the move as we head into turn number 13, and Paul is through. Tiny's also retaken the position over MG Dunn. Gets a bit of a tank slapper though, and in fact MG Dunn almost outbraking himself into the heavy braking zone and almost ran into the back of Tiny, almost causing a rear end crash between them two.
See, it seems like Vin Porte's back of Kots is there.
Yeah.
He's on the way for the podium from being last. He goes to move to Kotos to the inside, gets the move, has a little wiggle there.
Has a wiggle, but Kotos is losing out positionally here a lot.
Still
and
keeps the position.
Keeps position in the end, but yeah, he's looking very much vulnerable out of the battle for second then here in this race. And I get the feeling Vin Porsche might be going through sooner rather than later ahead of Kotos. So, going to be a key exit for both Kotos and Vin Porsche.
We have a spinner there, MG Dunn.
Yep, that's such a shame for him, because he would have picked up good points, finishing well within inside the top 10 then here today he was looking at. So looks like down that straight Vin Porsche was a little bit further back, as Kotos gets a bit of a tank slapper out of that corner and struggling with the rear end grip of the car, but in the end doesn't lose any position through it and does lose a bit of time, but that won't be that bad in like relative perspective. So Vin Porsche looking at trying to get through. Kotos got that DRS, so this is probably going to be maybe Vin Porsche one of his best opportunities, but isn't close enough to really think about the lunge up into turn 1. Too far back on this occasion.
Have a yellow flag again. That's a lot of cars there.
To be fair, I don't think we'll have another safety car now.
I think it's too late.
Yeah, probably a bit too late. I think if we go have a... I think you can only get a final safety car 5 laps to the end. Currently we're only got about 4 laps roughly, so it is probably a bit too late for to find that other safety car. Still, would be nice to have a final safety car, to be fair. Try and bunch the pack up again and maybe put them more on soft, see what they can do. Anyway, Kotos is going to go for a move down the inside, makes a bit of contact with his rival.
Ooh,
and
he gets overtaken by
Vin Porsche. But what that's allowed is Vin Porsche to go through up into P2 and actually has cost Paul Jones the position.
Ooh,
and they're still both fighting.
That wasn't a good move from Paul Jones. That was a cheeky dive bump.
Yeah.
He lost position from Tiny, and now D-Max 2.8 seconds behind. So Kotos really lost before there.
To be fair, I didn't really see the onboard of Paul Jones. Not sure if you were on board with him, but yeah, did look like both of them, to Kotos and Paul Jones, just got a bit tangled up in their own mess there, unfortunately, and that's allowed Vim Porsche to steal a P2 potentially here. Obviously, was yesterday's race winner, and showing why he was yesterday's race winner. Started down this race at the back of the grid and is up into then second place, which, okay, isn't the win, but when you got
Still
a driver like CPI Danny, might as well just be the win for Vim Porsche today. I'm sure he'll feel like that.
Like Verstappen, yeah. So,
Yeah.
Verstappen.
The driver who finishes second to Verstappen probably feels more like a race winner inside of them. Because yeah,
Is
P2
Tiny
is the
going for a
best.
move? Would Tiny go? No, he will not. Thinks better of it. Thinks for the outside. No, he doesn't. And he could go for a move, but he didn't.
So Paul Jones still in third and looking still good for third, actually. Hasn't got a penalty. Tiny has, Kotos has, Demac hasn't, but Demac's 5 seconds behind that battle. So looking very, very good for a debut podium for then the Ferrari man of Paul Jones. And just out of curious, is he a full-time driver?
No, I
Or
don't
just
think so.
reserve?
He's a driver that he did his trial or something today. So
Still,
I think he's a new guy.
an amazing debut from him. Have to be credit where credit due. Really has impressed me. Looks very calm, very collected, and yeah, that's just driving a fantastic race overall. Given he's a new driver in the league, and yeah, not really getting into any incidents either. Hasn't picked up any time penalties as well. That's all pretty good, as we see Demac
And
and Kotos.
Gunn retires. I think he hit the wall there.
Yep, has to have probably done that at that corner, to be fair. So that's
again.
him out. So Kotos down into 6th, obviously does have 3 seconds, but is going to try and fight back with that 3 seconds and gets moved on with the DRS. Down the inside goes, clean into braking zone. Bit of contact between Demac and Kotos, but nothing major between them two overall.
I think D-Mag, he needs to get past Cots very quickly if he wants to catch up with Tiny and get P4, because right now he's out, only gets a position.
To be fair, I don't think Demac's going to catch up to Tiny. 7 seconds there is between them.
Yeah, well, you never know. Maybe with a mistake.
I think for DMAC, just don't get me wrong, I would probably be driving conservatively. Yeah, not.
But he has Mikey who is there and Shudan who is coming up there as well.
True, but they do have penalties.
And
less.
Mikey goes for a move to DMAC, to Kots actually, and they're side by side. And now Mikey is ahead of Kotos, and with the penalties, I think he remains ahead. Yeah, because all of them have the 3 seconds. Yeah. That's why I said Kotos really losing from P2 right now. He's P7.
Yeah, Kotos certainly lost out. Demac is, in a very healthy place to finish third in this race, 5th in this race, then here. So I think we might see a move coming from Tiny on to Paul Jones. Paul Jones doesn't really defend it, lets his guy go. And that's pretty smart racing from Paul Jones to lose that P4, but probably knowingly in a lap's time, he will be then on the podium, given the penalty Tiny has got himself. So obviously,
he has P3 he ends, so
Yeah.
I think he can keep it like that way.
So long he doesn't lose 2 seconds in a lap, that is
Or gets a
pretty
penalty.
safe. Or or that's the other mistake. So I'm pretty sure he'll probably just drive within this track limits on this final lap. But ultimately, still a bit of a fight going on for 7th, as we'll see Shudan going for the move, and would he go for it into turn 1? The answer is no. Neil fighting with Airman. Neil's through on Airman. Ross has retired out on the circuit though, so probably has
Yeah,
crashed
he
out.
spun, and Kotsu gets a penalty. 6 seconds. Ooh. He's so close to get P9 right now, because Tom is 6 seconds.
So,
Shouldn't.
might as well go back to our race leader, who is now in the final
The finish line.
sector. What can be really said about his drive today? Perfection? Almost.
He's already drinking champagne.
Yeah.
That's the main thing you can say.
It wouldn't shock me at this point if he's been going on booking.com and booking a hotel in the Barbados sort of area and booking his winter holiday abroad. But anyway, he's going to win the Austin, Texas Grand Prix. It's victory for CPI Danny. Vim Porsche is not going to take the race win today, but is still going to come home for a very, very good finish in P2. Then it's Paul Jones taking a debutant podium in ERL. Tiny misses out on the podium spots, but still comes home a solid P4. Demac in 5th, Mikey in 6th, Shudan 7th, Kotos is in 8th. Tom is going to be the next one to cross the line, is he? No, looks like Neil's going to cross the line ahead of him. Tom is then going to come home P10. I'm not entirely sure. I think just Tom lost it. I don't think he was battling.
Tom was like 5.6. He could have got Kotos there, but
yeah. And we're just waiting on Lewis, but yeah, it did look like I think Tom just lost it there, which was pretty odd. But we'll have to see. Sure, they'll explain afterwards, maybe.
Who is the driver of the day?
Driver of the day. I'm gonna say Paul Jones.
Yeah, same. I was about to say that.
For me, brilliant debutant. You know, that is. If you want to make a statement in the league and a good statement in the league, there's probably no better way to take to make that statement than to finish on the podium or to finish in a really, really strong points-paying position. You know, show
on the fast tire as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, really, really good driving from him, and yeah, I wouldn't give it to CPI Danny because he's just clearly a league above everyone.
If you see the best time, he put it at 130. How he put it at 132, and the rest of them put it at 136.
Mate, that guy should be illegal.
No, how is 4 seconds faster than anyone?
Anyway, I'm going to quickly go through the race result. CPI Danny then, fastest lap, takes win and takes P1 then. Then Porsche P2, so Dutch 1-2 for then the final time in ERL this season. Then it's Paul Jones P3, Tiny in 4th, Demac 5th, Mikey 6th, Shudan in 7th, Kotos in 8th, Neil on 9th, then Tom 10th, Eamon in then 11th, and Lucky Egg is in 12th. Then we got ERL Piers in 13th, Lewis G in 14th, and Eldgree 15th, Ross in 16th, and MG Dunn in 17th. Finally, we have got LCC, DNF, and St. Powers also DNFing equally. So that is your race result today. And yeah, as you were saying, like about the fastest lap, if you want to go back to that, feel free.
Yeah, the fastest lap of the race was 1:34. 32 actually, 0.998, and the closest one was 135.4, I think was Luigi. So
Yeah,
still was almost 3 seconds.
yeah, pretty insane that. Not really much more can add. Besides, it's insane.
Yeah, that's insane.
Even though I do think we do have bear in mind he was on softs compared to everyone
Yeah,
else on
yeah,
hards and
but four
mediums.
seconds, four
Yeah,
seconds.
yeah. Even I was
Really?
contemplating that because Airman
I mean,
didn't do a 32.9.
I can understand that he is on softs and faster, but on 4 seconds,
It's
really?
effectively
I
a
mean,
qualifying lap.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's like putting the quote of there, like Schumacher, we need 18 qualifying rounds. I think he did like 2000 something. I don't remember the exact same, but it was like that. It's like Michael Schumacher there.
yeah. What would have been interesting, I think, which just is a bit of a shame. I would have loved to seen a well, probably wouldn't have been very entertaining. Probably would have we'd fallen asleep. But I would have liked to have seen a no safety car race there. Um, and then yeah, I think just to see how far uh Danny could have gone in terms of the gap. Would it
He
gone
would
over
lap
28
probably
seconds?
even the P2.
But I would have loved to have seen it like as much as I wouldn't like to see it, I would have loved to see it because I do like dominance. I appreciate it a lot, um, personally myself. But yeah, that's I believe the final race then,
Of the
which
sea of the
until
sea of not of the season
of
of
the
the
year.
year.
Yeah,
So happy Christmas. We'll see you next year in round
2024.
round yeah 2024 round 7. We racing at Spain at 8th of January. Oh,
Yep,
tier
indeed.
1.
And hopefully, it'll be a good race as well at Spain. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, as you said, happy Christmas to all, and hope you enjoyed the stream and the race today. And until Spain on the 8th of January, see you all then for another
Yes.
ERL Tier 3 race.
See you guys.